folks, and welcome to the stream. My name is Mike D'Angelo, aka that Tellest guy, and I am joined here today by my co-host and lovely wife, Rihanna.
Hello.
Hello! I have a feeling, I don't know if I can substantiate it or not, but I have a feeling that this will be the very first show that we have ever done together where we don't have Alona losing her mind.
Could be. She's very sleepy.
I got faith. All right, so what we're going to talk about today, Rihanna and I have just recently binge watched the Avatar: The Last Airbender show and the live action on Netflix. We've long ago watched the cartoon, and it's one of our favorite intellectual properties out there. And we figured, I gotta drink more tea with honey. We figured that it would be a good time today to talk about a lot of the elemental forces of Tellest. So we're going to stick with the big four, and we're going to add one or two or three to the mix, because there is a lot of stuff going on in the Tellest universe, and it's fun to play with those kind of things. Give me a second. I'm going to sip on some tea with honey.
He's a little under the weather. And I've learned from past episodes that when he's sipping stuff, I'm supposed to keep talking.
I'm so proud of you.
I remember it. It's not interesting, but it's filling the silence.
And that's half the battle. So it's not quite that I'm under the weather. It's that certain days I talk more than I ought, and today was one of them, because I ended up at multiple of our sites for the day job and had training set up and everything, and just a lot of chatting. So we are going to try and make this as pretty artistic and everything as possible. So what we're going to do is start by going in the order of the Avatar characters, the masters that we see. So we're going to start with wind element stuff, and we're going to start with a variant from Numasa. So this is Kazuri. She doesn't have the ability to summon like wind the way that Aang does or anything like that, but she does have the ability to summon those wind blades. So like what you see in her hand right there, it kind of looks like a bright green boomerang, and that's the kind of things that she can summon. So Kazuri is a reformed pirate, and when she was a pirate captain, those little boomerangs really ended up helping, because she could completely cripple an enemy ship by flying over to that ship and just decimating the sails with those
blades.
I'm looking at you like, I don't know. I'm trying to figure out what's going on in your head, because you're just dancing with your shoulders and like
I'm paying attention.
So she's got the wind boomerang powers and stuff like that.
And for the purposes of this explanation of the elements, we're just basically like loosely defining anyone who has like the ability to manipulate one of those elements in some way, shape, or form, as
as one does. As a banter?
As a bender.
Oh, as a bender.
As a bender.
So we've got our resident wind user, wind as it really is, not weird wind blades or anything like that. Narralinder is our elf from the Whisper Wind Elves tribes, and wind is in the name, so we absolutely needed to have somebody in that tribe who actually used that magic. So Narralinder's learning from a human wizard, Wispus, and she's pretty predominantly used that kind of magic in the Tellest universe.
The wind from Wispus.
The wind from Wispus. And we'll move over to someone who's not quite a character themselves, but a race of characters. So let's see if Rihanna.
Oh, I'm supposed to talk now. He's a sippin'.
Wonderful. Perfect.
I'm not a good co-host, but I'm here for moral support.
You're doing good. You're doing
sure.
You're doing gooder than you used to. So we are going to be looking at the Kin Malar right now. They are the big bads from the second book in the Tales of the Fall. It's the longest book that I've worked on, not in length, but in time that I've spent from when I started working on it to it's still not finished.
Right.
Because it's the Fall was such a powerful book for me to write that I'm trying to make sure that I'm giving this the right time to breathe and things like that. So other books have come and passed it by and everything.
It's the George R. Martin
It's
approach.
the George R. Martin
Take
approach.
forever.
But I can say that
one.
it is coming together very well. But I haven't even seen the introduction of the Kin Malar in the pages yet. There's a lot of stuff that's going on to kind of set the stage for these guys showing up. And the Kin Malar are basically the equivalent of a storm demon instead of we usually consider demons all fire and brimstone, and these demons come from another realm that is predominantly lightning based. And
side note, this is one of my favorite artworks that we have. Just very powerful.
Yes, it is powerful. Powdered sugar. So we're gonna go look at Nadia next, and I've got a couple of pictures of Nadia, the Desert Wraith, that we've done, but only one of them is up on the Tellest website, so you guys are going to see some early stuff.
Ooh, sneak peek.
So this is Nadia. Her ability is that she can run really super fast. When she is running, she is basically becoming insubstantial. So the faster she runs, the more kind of invisible she looks. She can actually kind of, it's sort of like the Flash. She can kind of like bend her molecules to allow her into like certain situations and stuff like that. But we don't have any really big speedsters or anything in this timeline of the Tellest universe. We did have in one of the books that shall not be named something like that before, but this is Warren Zuen Lee's take on Nadia. So this is one of our relatively new takes on the character, and I think she looks pretty good.
Sand boot.
So you can see her becoming insubstantial. We have a little picture. You're going to have a lot of previews today. Today's a special episode, so we're going to have a lot of fun. So we do have this one little version of Edmund that we've seen before, and we've shown it off on the Talking Tellests before, but we're going to show you a special sneak peek of Edmund done by Warren in all his wonderful, spectacular glory. So this is our weather wizard. At one point, he was kind of like floating, I think, in one of the shots that we had, but we didn't want him to be like storm and stuff like that.
It's more so that he can just manipulate the weather,
right?
Which is, I mean, air-based. Mm-hmm. Atmosphere.
Yep, atmospheric
and whatnot.
Mm-hmm. So he has a lot of fun with that kind of stuff. So cute little use for Edmund, and that is going to be. I mean, this is not an exhaustive list or anything. It's just us trying to have some real quick fun and everything like that. So,
a la Avatar.
We are going to go to the art gallery one more time because we're going to see another. We're going to actually switch to our next element, and we are going to be looking at water. So we have kind of the Kin Malar kind of fits the bill for wind and water. One of our most in-your-face kind of water element users is Riptide, who was a character that we introduced in Silver Serpent. And Riptide actually got his power from a Calistrati. So one of the oldest powers that we have in the Tellest universe, and to actually see it emblazoned on the cover of the book is pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. And so, he's a creepo.
He's a creepo.
Yes. Gotta read the book to find out.
Yep. One of the most... Oh, you know what? We have another picture of Riptide, so we got Riptide there as well. One of the most prolific ice users that we have in the Tellest universe is Adelia. We had Mageborn, which was pretty much the only time that we don't see her using ice magic. So, Transformed, we've got her using ice magic. We've got her in a lot of her character art using ice magic. In fact, you can see her right in our 5 Heroes Tales of Tellest.
Elsa who?
She's even striking a pose on our Persistent Fantasy Writing character group. She's one of our flagship characters in that group. She's been doing cool ice stuff for as long as we can remember. We do have another character that we're going to show off. This is another preview character and a Tower Sphere champion from Valtiga. So this is Ivo Kamen, our first powered Logano person that I think we're seeing in the Tellest universe. Although, in the QQ universe, that's kind of up in the air.
True.
You want to say why we named him Ivo?
Oh, because of Taskmaster. We're big fans, and the character, or well, not character, just who he is, Ivo, the contestant. We love him.
We've adopted him.
He's adorable.
In our hearts, we've adopted
I forget his last
him. Well, I said that it was going to be the show that Luna did not bother us, but that is swiftly becoming not true. I will tell. I'll tell you what, Rana. Let's use this opportunity to go to our sponsors.
Okay.
And now, a word from our sponsors. Hard work on multiple series. Author Aaron Renfro is currently making magic with the penultimate book in his Resonance Cycle series. Night Unleashed sees the lit RPG series character mainstays coming to terms with the fact that, though they may have supernatural talents, even they can bleed. With the final battle not far off, Renfro puts the pieces into their positions, leaving a promise for readers and fans that what is to come will be nothing short of legendary. If you enjoy lit RPGs and isekai adventures, fully immersed with the magic and splendor of Night Unleashed, the 6th book in the Resonance Cycle. Check out our promo on the Tellest website this week. Lit RPG newcomer Italian Dragon has grand aspirations of a tremendous, interconnected multiverse. Their debut, Third Path of Creation Book 1, Traveler's Journey, an Omniverse series, is the first step toward mastering the foundation of those interwoven worlds. Traveler's Journey is a lit RPG that certainly does what it sets out to and introduces readers to an overpowered main character who uses their wits just as much as their newfound abilities. Oh, and they get to turn into a dragon. What more could readers want? If you're looking for a lit RPG that leans into the fantasy elements just as much as game theory, check out the promo for Third Path of Creation Book 1, Traveler's Journey, an Omniverse series on the Tellest website today. And we're back. I want to make sure that we're actually hearing ourselves speak because we've made whoopsies in the past and we're trying to avoid whoopsies in the future. So we just got done. What? Whoopsies?
With the audio, not with life.
No, in life as well.
So many whoopsies.
So many whoopsies. Luna, why must you always step on things? Hey, can you please?
To be part of it.
I know. But she's going to step on the wrong thing and kill us. So we just got done talking about the water stuff. Let's go talk about.
Oh yeah, I took the notes away.
You took my notes. We're gonna talk.
No big deal.
Is that
That's
Zelda as
Zelda.
well? What are you whining about, Zelda? Are you talking to?
Not being vocal enough.
Hi, Luna. Oh, there's vocals. All right, so we're going to be talking about some of our Earth users now. Now, we have a very popular Earthbender who showed up in the third Child of the Stars book, but he doesn't have any art or anything like that. He's not currently someone who we've seen in the new timeline, but Miter Cold Whistle, but he becomes Miter Earthshaker because the dwarves of the Tellest universe, when they get a power, when they get something from the strain, it's tradition that they end up creating a new clan. What do you have to say, Luna? Do you have anything important to share? Let's see. Since you're here, we're going to see if we have a webcam that we can throw on. You wanna?
Hello.
Luna, would you like to say hello to the people?
No, she wants to smell with the mummy. Hi, the baby. Oh God.
Luna, look right there.
Look,
Say
look at
hello.
the people.
Can you
Say
speak?
hi to the people.
Can you speak? No, she can smooch. Hi, Luna. Everybody's so proud of you. All right, so we are going to continue on looking. So we have JD Rivers next. We've got a couple of things at JD, I believe. Let's see, where's our JD stuff?
Wipe the dog slobber off my face.
A couple of JDs. We're not going to spend an exorbitant amount of time. Oh my god, so problematic every time. I don't. So JD Rivers is not actually.
Oh my
Luna,
goodness.
quit it. So JD Rivers is a character that we created in collaboration with Aaron Canton. So far, he's the only one who's written any of her stories, but we have seen JD Rivers in a couple of other places. Oh, she's just so ticked off at us. She just completely up and left. We've seen JD in the QQ universe because she shows up in, well, she does show up in the third iteration of Quantum Quest and the second expansion.
Right.
We're working with Sergey right now to adjust certain things to make her pop in her Quantum Quest debut even more.
I can tell you right now, we would not be friends.
No?
My allergies would not permit.
Maybe she can ask them to be the equivalent of like a Bichon.
Yeah.
No allergies.
Ask all the dandelions of the world not to kill me. I love it.
Please do not pollinate. So that is our JD. We also have Allura. We have a couple of pieces of Allura, but the other ones we don't have available for preview tonight because we didn't prepare quick enough. But
Naughty.
is this your first time seeing?
No, I've
You've
seen it. I
Allura
just
before.
wanted to act surprised.
Oh, I've never seen such a thing.
There's such a wide range of artwork for these characters. Like, I know it's different artist perspectives, but saucy.
Saucy. Okay. We've got Elowen, which is the
My
character in the upcoming Whispers of the Weirdwood. Would you like to talk about Elowen at all?
Sure. So Elowen is a dryad. The dryads in the stories, or in the Tellest universe, that I've decided, like, is headcanon, they're all connected to, like, I mean, obviously they're connected to trees, but, like, the whole forest is connected to each other, so they're very much, like, you know, they can make trees that are not inhabited by dryads sort of bend to their will just by kind of whispering, like, in their tree language.
It's the Tellest version of social media.
Right. Elowen has some specific powers that may kind of overlap with, like, further down category, like spirit category a little bit, because it's a little less manipulating the earth and more, like, infiltrating. Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? I just realized we have a preview that we can do for our next character, and I don't have it up on the Tellest website, but we're going to show that off. It is on the Patreon, but we're going to take a step. I was trying to, like, figure out who the heck this person was, because, like you said, you were going to butcher the spelling.
And autocorrect didn't help either.
Right. So Lionel is a character from D. April's Fools. He is another one of our quote-unquote earthbenders, but his debut in the Tellest universe was a little different than most people who have some significant control over earthen abilities and stuff like that.
Yeah. D. April's Fools is all about, like, sort of misfits emerging into their powers.
It's D-list superheroes
Right.
on their way to becoming a little higher than D-list.
Right.
Maybe much higher, but at least a little higher. So Lionel's whole first experience was kind of creating quicksand at his own feet, which is no help to anybody unless you're also trying to get stuck with somebody else. Right. And he's also, I think, let's see if we can minimize everything all at once. He's we can see him right on the background of our desktop. So good times there. And then we have Eclipse, who is a character who has not made his way, unfortunately, to the current timeline, and too bad, so sad. But where are you, Eclipse? We made a bit of artwork for him so early on that. Anyway, that's Eclipse. Our Spirit Ranger, who has some druidic talents and stuff like that. He was a big part of the Child of the Stars trilogy, but as with a couple of our characters, we just haven't really seen them kind of. They're a little bit further along on this timeline.
There hasn't been a need for his vanities.
His vanities. All right, we are going to move into Fire. Rihanna and I had talked a little bit about this one because it was kind of peculiar in that in the Tellest universe, we probably don't think about lightning so much as a fire ability as, you know, we kind of see it as a wind ability or something like that. But because the Airbender show, or I'm sorry, Avatar,
the Airbender
the
show.
Airbender show, because Avatar has
They kind of categorize lightning
Right,
as a type
right.
of fire. I
you
guess
figure Azula and Iroh and
Sparky,
everything like
yeah.
that, they end up having their lightning powers, and because they're part of the Fire Nation,
Right.
we don't associate it with lightning, but we have a couple of pictures of Bolt. And obviously Bolt is one of our more popular characters because he's got 2 books to his name. Or no,
And he's
got 2 books.
2 books.
2 books with a third on the way. Third is probably going to be a 2025
And he's
book.
based on your brother.
He's based on my brother. And our most popular character with fire abilities is arguably Alicia. We've got some stuff from her. Let's see
She's
if we can.
definitely got the most artwork, I would say. Well, her and Adelia.
Her and Adelia. So we have on Patreon and on the newsletter every now and then we do kind of like a special feature, which is like a 3x3 grid whenever somebody has at least 9 pieces of artwork by different artists. So we like to do like a 9 style is what we call it.
Right.
But so yeah, Alicia's got quite a few different iterations of her artwork. She got her pin-up variety.
The bosoms.
Keep it classy.
What? I said bosoms.
I said bosoms. I said heaving bosoms.
It's fine.
And then our
Zelda.
I think she might need to go outside.
Well, she was already out there.
You know what I just noticed? We've got Maria in the background here. But we also have a version of her from Silky Noir as well. So we'll show that off as well. You know what? We missed an opportunity to talk about Kyra when we were talking about water.
Kyra?
Mhm.
Oh, shit. Oh, oops, sorry. I'm not supposed to say that.
You've been penalized.
I said Schmidt as in the beloved character from New Girl.
So Maria, her whole shtick is that she has the ability to create fire, but she has not been able to figure out how to make it so that it doesn't burn her, which is a terrible power to have unless you're desperate. So you can actually kind of see some redness around her hands and stuff like that. But let's take a real quick stop back to Kyra, because it's no fun to have to be left off of anything.
Yeah, we can't not include her. Bubbles.
Bubbers. She makes bubbles.
That's her little misfit power,
That's
but
her
it gets
power.
cooler.
She of the entire group of 4 that we introduced in The April Fool's Volume 1, she's the one with the most control over her power because she's got like an aberrant power. Like she knew that she was going to have an ability because she came from a sect of elves who had control over water. Very much waterbenders, like that group. But because her father is a gnome, it kind of screws with the idea of whatever that power is.
Diluted /
Altered.
morphed.
An aberration.
Mutated.
So we're done with the big 4 here at this point, but we're going to kind of slide into a couple of the other things that we talk about. So we have a couple of other characters in the world of Tellest who have other kind of elements that they focus on. So the next element that we're going to be looking at is spirit. So we're going to be looking at people who can control, life and death and
Intangible life essence.
Nope. So probably our most known person. Well, maybe second most known now, but
And also souls are purple, just in case anybody didn't know.
everybody knows that souls are purple.
Of course.
Excuse me, I got a burp.
Beautiful.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah.
I was trying to get you to talk, and you're just like,
I
let
thought
me
you were
let me
trying-
look at this
I
guy
thought
trying
you
to.
were trying to coax it out. I'm supposed to talk now. You can see some lovely purple. He's got a pink dishwashing glove and some ribbons that he's pulling out of.
I know that you complained about that dishwashing glove before too.
I'll never let it go.
Oh my goodness. So German Tato is the biggest antagonist of the very first book that we ever published, Bindings of Fate. But in the timeline that he's in now, he and Luca Cregan and Adelia Cregan and the Cragans, they've never crossed paths. So it's anybody's game as to how far he's going to go with all that. There's another necromancer that we have who we introduce in Silver Serpent Chronicles, and who ends up becoming a much bigger character in Heart of the Forest. But we don't have any artwork of him or anything like that. But necromancy is a big power source in the Tellest universe. We've also got, arguably, our most famous kind of spirit user is Bixby Aladocious, who we've talked about very recently. But Bixby is the one who has the ability to die and come back infinitely, and leaves his body behind.
So he's basically crossing into that spirit realm and
right.
reconstituting himself
and
over and over again.
You and I have talked about this before. Bixby plus a necromancer makes for a very interesting kind of
that
thing.
That really needs to be its own whole, like maybe that's a Halloween story next year or something, because that could be so fun.
Yep. So we definitely have some interesting stuff in store for Bixby.
It could be a flash mob. Just a bunch of Bixbys dancing with myself.
All they have to do is give me access to that Sora AI video thing, and we can have Bixby doing a video flash mob.
So fun. I love it.
We've got a couple of other characters who kind of exhibit spiritual control and stuff like that. Aaron has a character who she's able to kind of manipulate ghosts once she defeats them, into giving her kind of their powers and stuff like that, and we're going to explore that a little bit more. We do have a picture of Kaleo.
I have a side stupid question.
What's your side stupid question?
So, if you have a ghost, and then you have a body, and the necromancer brings the body of the ghost back to life, is he putting the soul back, like the ghost part back in, or is it independent?
Well, I think it really depends, because a lot of times when you're looking at like a zombie or something like that, the spirit has moved on. You're reanimating the corpse, but you're not doing anything with the soul. The soul is gone. So
it would have to be like recently deceased, essentially.
Not necessarily, because you could be a ghost who has unfinished business or something like that. So, you could have a situation where the ghost is there. Maybe the body's there, but maybe it's been so long that the body's like, you would just be throwing a soul into a skeleton.
Gotcha.
And at that point, I don't know necessarily that the soul would know that this is my body anymore.
Right. Just fun to think about in the world of Tellest.
Maybe someone who's sitting next to me should write it.
Okay.
So we have Kaleo up right now. She is probably the fourth most important character that we have in Adelia's third book, after Adelia, Gaston, and Lucinda. Mm-hmm. Maybe fifth because Merlin.
Kitty.
But Kaleo is the soul weaver of the island of Raylani and that archipelago. She has the ability to kind of heal people's spirits. She can grab people's souls and kind of freeze them in place temporarily. She's got an interesting power set because there's not really a lot of people who so directly tap into people's souls.
Yeah.
And stuff like that.
I think we talked about like how her power would be, and the soul weaver came from like as if it were like a tapestry that she was putting together and able to see kind of like the threads of the spirit world.
Yep. So
and manipulate those.
Yep. Now, Rhiannon, I was thinking as we were going through this, I don't think that I have the artwork for it up here, but we do have it's technically not someone who has the ability readily available to them or anything like that, so it might not officially count. But Thune Soren, the Calistrazi from last year's, or the year before I should say, is Halloween story. Let me see if I have any of the artwork for him. I might not have got the artwork done in time. Oh, there we go. His power really is not
being ugly.
His power is not really control over life and death. It's just, he was.
His weakness is TMJ.
I don't think that is his weakness. I think that is your weakness. So Thune Soren actually is kind of like our undead Mr. Fantastic. He's very stretchy.
Sure.
Sure.
I don't like it.
I don't like it. Move on.
It's good art. I just don't.
I don't like it.
I don't like it.
So we're gonna move on to kind of holy, divine, that kind of stuff. Let's go to the art gallery.
And
Squeaky.
offset.
We've moved on from Squeaky as a power.
We'll call this an offset of like, so spirit would have to do with like just natural spirits, and then like the holy stuff has like power that comes from the divine, or like,
Oh my goodness.
or you know that.
So
the divine wine of the Luna.
oh my goodness.
Monster.
What a dweeb. Alright, so we've got a couple of Conrad pieces. Conrad's our most notable priest besides Richard Lenner.
Mm-hmm.
But Richard Lenner doesn't really have like a magical hold on the divine. He's more, like a clergyman instead.
Right.
So Conrad actually does have magical abilities, but he's kind of an interesting case study because Conrad has the ability to heal people, but he also has the necessity to hurt people.
Right.
You can't really tell in this image, but in this one you certainly can. He actually was inflicted by Kaikano's vengeance, which is Kaikano is actually
Water.
Yeah.
So, another water bender
Yep.
guy.
So Kaikano is rumored to be a like an old god, and he comes from the same place in the world that Kaleo came from, and somebody who Conrad interacted with in his story Blessings and Curses ended up inflicting him with this disease, and now he has to live with it. And unfortunately, he has to hurt people in order to help other people. And typically, as you can see, he's kind of the one inflicting pain on himself, but it's not a great life to lead.
That character was based off of a friend of ours who makes really good buffalo chicken dip. Just fun factoid about Tellest.
Good times. So Vaya Moot is our warlocky kobold, and they also have some kind of divine powers, but it ends up being kind of more along the lines of Jiro Mentado, and I would assume that of anybody in the Tellest universe who's going to create their own Frankenstein's monster kind of situation, it's going to be Vaya. What do you think about Vaya?
I love him. I want him to be our fourth dog.
So, fun fact about Vaya. Vaya is both a he and a she.
I don't think I knew that.
Mm-hmm. Reason being, when we originally conceived of Vaya, we conceived of Vaya as a girl. Vaya was originally drawn by Sergei as a boy. And we just kind of went with it. And we said there's multiple variations of Vaya that exist. So in the Quantum Quest universe, you could run into the male version or the female version. So.
And either way, the point is moot.
The point is Vaya moot. We are going to end today on some summoners. What are you doing? Are you summoning Squeaks?
She really is. She's trying to cast a spell. Oh,
I
look at this.
Was totally trying to get behind you
Poochie.
today and tell everybody that you were going to be well behaved.
But
and
no.
you have
Hey,
made a fool of me.
It lasted a while.
It lasted no time at all.
Hey, baby. She was good for like 20 minutes.
All right. So we've got your notes say shirt. And you did nothing to correct it. You said shirt.
What's her name?
Shiro. So Shiro is a character who she comes from a place in New Masa, and she has the ability to summon celestial glass. So when I kind of conceived of her, I thought that she would be using her talents to make things like stairs and walls and things like that. And the interesting thing is that 2 generations down the line, she ends up having a grandson who has the ability to summon celestial glass as well. But because she was more defensively aligned and he's more offensively aligned, he does things like create daggers and stuff like that.
So this category is for people who can like substantiate nothing.
Something
like
from
yeah,
nothing.
like basically just create something.
Yep. So we've got this is Jean. We've got
That's the most airbender-y.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, certainly when you're thinking about like Avatar and things like that, everybody's got like the martial arts stance that helps them to produce the various forms of bending and things like that. And Jean definitely has that kind of look to him.
Mm-hmm.
I realized also that we skipped a couple of other people, but I think we're going to keep them off because we are well over our mark that we usually take. So we'll get rid of Haroon and we'll get rid of Sturm.
Okay.
Is that okay? Did you want to talk about either
No,
of
it's
those?
fine.
No, it's fine.
No, it's fine.
So this is Jean. We're going to move on to Horse Lady. You're perfect.
I didn't remember her name.
So Annika is a character who you came up with the name for.
I know, and I forgot. I'm a goldfish. It's
yes,
okay.
You very much are. So Annika has. So first off, we were trying to look for more characters to flesh out the roster in the Valtiga Tower Sphere group, and that really meant making new characters from scratch because we really haven't spent too long in Savion, with the exception of a little bit of time with Kayonani, a little bit of time with
with the Dragon
yep.
Speaker stuff,
and a little bit of time with Nadia in like the pre-work that we've done for the Desert Wraith story, and then a little bit in like short stories because we've seen in Blood in the Desert we've seen a couple of our QQ characters be given an opportunity to shine. But Annika is a character that we haven't really come up with until you and me and Wern collaborated to make a 4th champion for Tower Sphere for the Valtiga arena.
She summons horse.
Yep, she summons horses from an ethereal plane, and it gives her a sense of mobility. She comes from the plains of South Savion, so she had to make a long trip to get all the way up to the north side of that continent and join the Valtiga Tower Sphere team.
Good thing she can travel quick. Because horse. She's a bamf.
She's a bamf. And then we're gonna end tonight with another cool character who can summon some stuff. So Pendra Chivarix, who was one of our big bads in the second book in the Child of the Stars trilogy, who's just really, he's just misunderstood.
A General Zaddy.
A general, comma, Zaddy. So Pendrich has the ability to not only just be a badass, but also to summon spheres of darkness. That's, I think, of all the nods that I have towards my favorite author, R.A. Salvatore, that's probably the biggest one because Dris Duarden, his most famous character, has those kind of, well, most of the characters from Menzoberran, the Underdark, the Drows, they have an ability like that, but Pendrich has that ability because of the strain. And this was our most recent take on the character, and it's the first one where we see him without his mask, so Warren did a very cool job bringing him to life there.
Hat.
Now, I think what we're going to do is see if Rihanna...
He's done with me.
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna see if I continue to talk while he drinks his drink. Yep, I'm a talking. He's a drinking. I'm Ladarius. I'm so sorry.
We're going to wrap things up because Rihanna's mom just sent us a text that said she's dying.
What?
So
Wait, what?
Let's cut over to the closing the show screen. So folks, on the screen right now, you should see all the places that you can find Tellest goodness. The website that we were just on was Tellest.com.
She's okay, people.
She's
said
okay.
She scooted around the block because the PT people told her to walk.
Ah, I see.
Poor
So she
baby.
scooted.
Okay, she's not dying.
She's not dying. So Tellest.com is where you can see all this art that we just did, and it's usually where you can take little journeys to our other projects. But speaking of those other projects, we have a couple of premium sites that you should check out. Patreon.com/Tellest is where you can find our Making Maps features and the artwork that we post a couple of times a week. That is well in advance of the stuff from the website. The website is scheduled out until like the beginning of 2027. But you'll see things well in advance of 2027 if you go to Patreon. You get little like sketch sneak peeks.
Yeah, you don't wanna say that.
That adjective was accurate, but also didn't really say what I wanted to. But you can see, sketches and work in progress pieces, but you need to be a patron in order to see those things in their fullest.
They can see all the backlog stuff too, right? If
Yeah, absolutely.
So, whole wealth of Tellest art.
Right. We currently have 1,700 posts on the Tellest website. Now, some of those are, they go to the people who we promote and things like that. But there is a tremendous amount of content on Patreon as well. And then the other premium site that you can go to is for our physical goods. So you can see tellest.etsy.com there in the bottom right corner. The Etsy shop is where you'll be able to find jumbo mouse pads, posters, stickers, bookmarks, the Tellest art book, the Tellest tabletop games, Quantum Quest, and then of course we've got Rihanna's Weird Witch wands, her one of a kind, one of a kind handcrafted wands. Now you got me delirious. But you can also see her Weird Witch wands on TikTok.com/@WeirdWitchWands to see, you know, her promotional videos and stuff like that with
some making of videos as well.
Mm-hmm. And if you have not gotten enough yet of Luna just making an absolute nuisance of herself, that is pretty much the entirety of our second TikTok channel up there, which is TikTok.com/@TalesOfTellest. We've got her, and then to a lesser extent, her two sisters will show up a decent amount as well.
They're relatively normal. She typically gets the spotlight because she's ridiculous on a daily basis.
Mm-hmm. She's a nudge.
The other two dog on a daily basis. She lunatics.
Mm-hmm. We've also got a couple of other sites that I want to bring your attention to. Chances are, if you're watching this, because we only have one viewer right now, and I'm pretty sure it's us, the YouTube channel, youtube.com/@WorldOfTellest, is where you can see our huge backlog of Talking Tellest videos, as well as our map-making features. But if you want to see us live and chat with us and everything, the only place to do that is twitch.tv/ThatTellestGuy. Now, we're going to get off. Make sure that your mom is alive. Make sure that Luna...
Do the man want some chocolate milk or anything?
The man, quote unquote, do want his chalky milk. But that's it for now, and we thank you for joining us, and we miss you. Why did you sing it?
Because
we miss you.
I wanted to.